Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first update for the Server Runtime SEG. So, first of all, I would like to say hello. I joined about 3 weeks ago to work on Server Runtime, and I'm so excited to be here. The question I've been asked multiple times already is what is Server Runtime? And so the answer is pretty simple. Today on GitLab, we have the ability to edit code using our web IDE. But what can't do is run our code or run tests. The server runtime gives you that. So it gives you the ability to have a full runtime environment in which you can run your code and test. So this is a pretty big space. And so the question is, what's the first problem you're going to tackle? And again, I'm lucky to be working very closely with the editor group who've done a lot of work in this space already. So they have already embedded VS Code as an IDE to replace the current web IDE. And they're also working on a way to embed Eclipse J into GitLab, right? And so that's investigation which is ongoing. Um, the problem I wanted to tackle is related to having a complete server runtime like J, but an alternative to that. So what I really want to do is build a custom control plane. And the goals of the control plane are going to be such that one, it can be installed in any Kubernetes cluster. The second thing I want is to have really tight integration with GitLab. And what that means is things like authentication, things like having the right extensions installed, being able to provision an environment right from GitLab very easily, to be able to view your environments in GitLab. So I want that whole experience. And of course, I want to be able to offer a multitude of different ID experiences through this. So not just VS Code, but things like Jupyter Hub, Vim, and not just IDEs with the UI, but also headless IDEs so that you can connect your own IDE to the server runtime environment. Now, the idea is also that this can be run on a customer's cluster, but also on our own clusters on GitLab.com. So we could potentially support a free or a paid offering by running it on our own clusters. With that, I've been working on a prototype for a custom control plane. I would love to take you through that. So the journey really starts from any repository. And I've got this very basic Go example set up here. So there's nothing special about this repository other than the fact that it's got this GitLab experiments YAML file. And all this really has is it defines your development environment. So it's got an image that describes your development environment. And so this image is just a normal Docker image containing VS Code, Go, and a few Go extensions. So if I go ahead and I click on a link here, so I'll just provide a link here which takes it currently to my own domain, but we could host this obviously on GitLab. And all you need to pass to this is your project and a ref. So if I go ahead and click that, it goes and starts provisioning in my environment. So what it does is in the Kubernetes cluster, it provisions pods and ingress and services and things like that, and soon to come volumes, and starts creating a DNS entry so that we can actually be navigated to the IDE. Now it's going to take a few seconds. I'll pause the video here. So as you can see, it's gone ahead and provisioned an environment for me. So it'll start off VS Code, and as you can see, it's actually cloned the repository as well. And I can access my main.go file, as you can see. So it's also installed the Go extension for VS Code. I can go ahead and start a new terminal, right? And I can go ahead and actually run the program. So I can say go run main.go, and that would actually run the program. Pass it a name, and you can see that. So I could go ahead and run the program. I could actually make changes to this program as well. And because I have the Go extension, it would do things like autocorrection and recreate import. So for example, I remove the import there, I remove the reference to the library, and so I remove the import and things like that. So that's done by the actual extension itself. So now I can go ahead and commit my code. So once I made my change, I can go ahead and commit my code. And because I'm already authenticated, it would just let me push, right? So I can go ahead. I just need to configure my email address. Commit and push. And so that's the experience. I've got an environment which has all the tools installed, and I can go and push. I just want to quickly show you another example that I have. This time it's not going to be VS Code, but Vim and Emacs instead. So I'll show you another shell script example that I've got. So this is a very simple shell script. And we've got, again, a GitLab experiments file, which runs TTYD and also has Vim and Emacs installed. So if I go ahead and click on provision, it's going to go again, start creating all the components, the ingress and the pod and things like that. And it's going to go ahead and wait for the DNS to become reachable. Once that's successful, you can see that it's gone ahead and started a terminal window, and I can look at the file. Again, it has cloned my repository, and I can start editing my script if I wanted to. Right, so I've got the full Vim experience. I can have Vim extensions installed as well. So I can go ahead and save and close, etc. I can also push as I would normally. I can also start Emacs in this one because I also have Emacs installed, so I can I have the Emacs experience that I want. I have that as well. I can also run my code, etc. Right from here. So again, what I want to tackle next after this is the ability to run headless IDEs. So where you run your IDE locally but connect to this server runtime. And also, I haven't done authentication for the IDEs yet. There's authentication for the part that actually provisions the environment, but no authentication to the IDEs. So that's what I want to tackle next. Thank you for listening, everyone.